So the total 3/BTC is going up. The dominance of Bitcoin is going down. And realistically, that is a sign of an alt season. However, let's just calm ourselves a little bit because I think people are missing something. So let's talk about the obvious. It has been, so far, a fantastic Q4. I know, it's been great. Pat yourself on the back if you've been involved. Now, I've been talking a lot, certainly if you look through my channel, in terms of bullish behaviours of what to expect in this quarter, and we've pretty much nailed it throughout the course of it. I didn't have XRP being where it is on my bingo card, though, let's be honest here, right? Now, the reality is very simple. Alt season, when does it happen? Why does it happen? What's going to be the point here? You need to kind of pin your ears back. So don't bugger off because I think people are missing the point with alt season. I will go through that. However, still early days, in my opinion, right? I think we need to be wary of the past, of what has happened in the past, right? So if you're new, like the video, subscribe, and let me know what you think about alt season. If it's here, if you've gained from it, whatever, right? Now, don't forget, a lot of these altcoins have really died over the course of the last 3 years. Most things have really not done well versus Bitcoin. That's the fundamental element here, right? When we talk about the Bitcoin season and all kinds of good stuff and the cycle low performance, this is where we are. Going as I expected, pretty good. Thus far, right? Thus far. So just be bloody mindful. In this morning's video on my Patreon, there's 50% off, by the way, if you want to jump in, check it out. I talked quite at length about my plan and what I'm aiming to achieve and what I might do if we get 2 alt seasons. Now let's get into that bit because I know you're going to be really excited. Alt seasons happen usually for 2 things. 1, Bitcoin accumulation. It ranges, right? We may well range soon. We also have when Bitcoin tops. Most end of cycle kind of situation is Bitcoin rolls over and altcoins have a little flourish of 4 to 6 weeks after that. That has happened on the 2 previous cycles I've been in. More often than not, though, surge on Bitcoin accumulation, alt season runs. Then it kind of flips back over to Bitcoin. So there may be a situation where realistically we look at January, for example, or even now to January, we may well get an alt season up to Donald Trump's inauguration. That depends on one thing. Does Bitcoin break above all-time high of 100k? Pretty much, and if it blasts right through that, it's going to be a very, very interesting time period. But we'll see. Before I crack on, a link below to Blowfin. Basically, if you're in the UK, you're not going to get access to many exchanges. Certainly if you're returning back, you want to trade futures, or even if you just want to use spot, some things are restricted. It's pretty shit. What's mad about this screen? XVG is in the top trending coins. If you're from the 2017 era, you'll know what I'm talking about. Anyways, the reality is simple. Many people look at alt seasons as my asset is doing better than Bitcoin in USD. That is fundamentally pretty much wrong in a way, right? Kind of and kind of not. Obviously, XRP is ranked number 3 right now. It's doing phenomenally well. We kind of expected XRP to be up there because of its suppression. Didn't expect it to do this in this time period, don't get me wrong. But I was looking and thinking, you know what, XRP at $5 doesn't seem too far-fetched, right? Realistically, in the grand scheme of things, especially at the end of a bull market. The way it's gone, crazy. So what we're waiting for and what we're looking to do, to see if your asset has outperformed Bitcoin, right, you need to basically be above this. Basically, obviously, you can see XRP's done very well. Ethereum's just by 7%, give or take. BNB is down. Solana's down by literally 1%. A lot of things are still down versus Bitcoin. But ultimately, as I say, right, a lot of things have popped off randomly. Stellar Lumen, for example. You've probably seen one of my videos not so long ago. Well, I giggled at that because it was ridiculous. Look at Hedge Hashgraph. The Dino coins have came back to life. And this is the thing. What is really outperforming the market is only a couple of assets that have done really well. But most importantly, they're the big boys. They're the big boys, right? Obviously, XRP. Dogecoin's done really well recently, right? As I say, going down the list, obviously Stellar is now a $16 billion asset. Polkadot, $13 billion asset, right? So all these big figure ones are like, it's going to make a big dent on that dominance, right? So when we look at dominance, this is obviously going down. Now, as I've alluded to it, we need to look at the .Ds on a lot of these. And above my head here, obviously I just moved myself, XRP has gone up significantly. It has gone up from literally 1.2% up to now nearly 4.5%. That's going to be a big swing change. But what hasn't moved is stuff like Ethereum, which is still very heavy. Obviously, Solana, which has now been overtaken quite significantly. And as you can see, the drop off by XRP. Is that an alt season now? Well, no. In my opinion, no, because it's only a select few. However, that is the rocket fuel, and it's also a signal to say to you guys that, well, liquidity is returning to certain coins. And I said it before in previous videos. Previous season people that got wrecked and bag holding, literally like, shit, I'm stuck. They will come back to the market and go, I've not lost any money. But they have in Bitcoin. It's basically saying, well, you should have just held Bitcoin realistically, right? So you're going to get people that are like forgetting the fact that Bitcoin's gone up by like however many 10x's in the matter of when they left. And I talked about this in my Patreon actually. And it's very interesting. Let me just show you a real life example, right? So let's look at XRP, right? XRP. You can see this whole time period. Let me go to a higher time frame because I think I might blow your brains. I do apologize. So when we are looking at this, right? And I've talked about this before. Let me just fiddle about a little bit. Because if I just remove that symbol, and if I go to that one to the BTC pair, kaboom. When we're looking at that, right? And you can see here very, very clear, it looks, they've chalk and cheese. Let me both go to the weekly. There we go. That looks like, you know, yeah, we're kind of at the same parallel points here, right? From 2022. Now, let's just say, hypothetical kind of reaction here. If you were buying, right, let's just talk about this in simple terms. Let me just look at the market top. So from XRP situation here, right, we'll talk about the May. We'll look at May because May was kind of when a lot of things did pop off and break and then didn't do a new high. So in terms of that, right, the XRP all-time high, the price cycle was $1.55. That was on the prior cycle. And when you look at that, that's quite interesting, isn't it, when you look at this sort of level? But when you look at the exact same data points, right, which I believe, let me just do it, there it is this many Satoshis, 3,000. Now, this is my point. A lot of people will be bag holding XRP or insert coin here from the prior cycle, and they will return to that cycle, which is going to give us a bit of excitement. Obviously, you could look at that left-hand side thinking, fucking look at that. Look at the right-hand side, it's not as impressive. Because what's happened is, because Bitcoin's been so powerful over the last, 18 months, this is going to reflect much heavier. Obviously, yes, it's going to reclaim some of these levels back, which is great to see. Now, this is where it gets interesting. If you've been a bag holder, well, actually, you're still down in Bitcoin. That's what's mental. Most assets since the prior all-time high of either May or November of 2021 have not outperformed Bitcoin, which is fucking madness. So when we talk about a true alt season, like a proper alt season, not even started yet, boys and girls. And that's what's scary. We're still at 56.55% Bitcoin dominance. And only a couple of these fuckers have moved. Get my point? So when we're looking at that as a situation, it's thinking, fucking hell, where can this go? Well, XRP, let me just do this on this right-hand side here, which is BTC pair, could go fucking miles higher, right? Basically, it could go to like 2019 level. It could go 6,000-7,000 Satoshis potentially, right? On the hype. Could be like a $10 XRP pretty easily in the fact that it's just going to reclaim levels and a strong Bitcoin. It's been suppressed. It's an obvious situation. Look at Ethereum, right? If I go Ethereum.D, it's currently down here. It's in a gipping downtrend. When will that turn up the heat and go back up to 20% of the market? It probably will, right? This is my point. Alt season hasn't really started yet. It's starting to tickle over. It's starting to get a little bit warm and juicy. But we haven't woken up and all of our things are up mega numbers, right? Only select few. And those select few are very few and far between because, let's be honest, a lot of people gave up with XRP, I think so anyways. A lot of people moved to other things. Hedge your hashgraph, you would not have had that on your bingo card. You would not have had Stellar Lumen on your bingo card to do a 400-500% move in 30 days in the USD pair, which has obviously reflected very, very well in the BTC pair, obviously. So if you watch my YouTube videos, you will know the Total 3/BTC is the bread and butter at the minute. If you want it on your charts, that is what you need. Simple as that. It isn't a glitch. It isn't a paid for thing. It's just that. Now, we have finally, boys and girls, changed character. We've got an EMA crossover for the first time since December the 19th, 2022. You know, before you can grow a beard and all that kind of good stuff. Yeah. We are here. We might well correct, who knows, but we'll see. It depends on what Bitcoin does. But the reality is here, that is the start where we need to be looking at altcoins and what to do with them and why, to buy into things. Now, in my opinion, it's going to slowly start to roll into altcoins. We want to get that liquidity because dominance is one thing. What Bitcoin is doing is the next thing. And what is Bitcoin doing, boys and girls? Well, let me just show you. We are slowly calming down and slowly starting to range. If we are ranging between 100k and 90k, and we're going to range for a couple of weeks, maybe a month or two, into January, we probably will see an alt season. That's the fundamentals of it, right? So again, when we look back at other things too, and then this is another bit of information that you may be thinking, fucking hell, here we go. The Russell. Now, this is trying to break its all-time high. Often you find with the Russell, it's a bit of a liquidity finder. It finds the bottoms and tops of the crypto market too, in terms of the altcoin market. This is what a lot of altcoin charts look like. Well, I wouldn't say all the altcoins, but certainly the BTC chart from this time frame, it does. From the whole entire year, some of the altcoins are looking relatively good from the not too distant past, sorry. So it's very, very interesting to see where this can go. This may well reflect very, very soon when it breaks its new all-time high. So just be mindful of that one too. But yeah, the fundamentals are pretty damn clear right now, right? It feels like we are warming up to 1, a Bitcoin range, and 2, an altcoin pop. And this chart is telling us, well, you know what, it might be time. But you're probably all wondering in the comments, well, what do I buy? Well, have a look at the BTC pairs of all your assets. Now, in my opinion, there's a couple that have popped off like a rocket. Obviously, Cardano, give you a live example. It's popped off like an absolute monster, which is fine. Obviously, there's been corrections and a bit of a retest all the way. But when you look at the likes of BNB, it hasn't moved yet. Dogecoin has slowed down over the last week or so, and it has kind of slowed a bit, and it's popped up again. It's kind of slowed down a little bit. Look at Polkadot. It's popped off a little bit, but it hasn't got beyond this point yet, right? Ethereum, obvious one, hasn't really moved out of this downtrend yet. It is still below the EMAs. ICP, one of the holds that I have, is finally starting to do a crossover and starting to change character. It may well be going up now. Even Link has started to slowly ramp up, but it is still down significantly from the early high. You get the idea? So it's not like you have missed the boat yet. Even Solana is kind of at these lows of this central range here. So it is very, very interesting to see where people's reactions and behavior is. But I don't think we're in alt season yet. I just think we've seen big boys pop off and random stuff happening. Seems to be the ISO coins and the regulatory coins such as XRP, HBAR, stuff like that. It's crazy when you look at it. And as I've alluded to it, when you look at like XLM.D, which I know is a random chart nowadays, but when you look at that and you think, wow, this was like 0.11 or 12 of the market in terms of percentages, is now 0.5%. That is monstrous. The fact that it has grown so much, it's gone to like levels from 2021 in a matter of 3 to 4 weeks. Actually lower than that. It's actually got, I'd rather give you the data. 24 days, 21 days, 3 weeks. 3 weeks to do that. That is what you call when it is mania season, bull market, alt season. You will get candles that look like that on a lot of your assets. We're not there yet, just individual ones, which is important, right? So I hope that kind of helps in that situation, right? The big problem you have got is what will pop. No, it all depends on what you want to buy. It all depends on what the narrative is. It all depends on certain situations. Individual ecosystems will have little pop-offs. XRP meme coins, Cardano meme coins, runes in Bitcoin, ordinals, right? Meme coins in Solana. You get the idea? It's really interesting to know. So be mindful. Don't get burnt. But I would err on the side of caution right now, because if Bitcoin does run and we go beyond all-time high into 100k and maybe even a lot higher, some of the altcoins will underperform. That's just tradition. The strong ones will probably consolidate for a bit and then they'll go again. So just be mindful of it. But the final thing to say, if you are like absolutely lost here, the trick is to try and scale into altcoins as high as possible in the dominance. But I want to showcase one final, and I said at the start of this video, wait till the end, because in the prior cycles, we've had situations where this has happened, where we started to look like we were downtrending. It was looking all fucking perfect. And then we had one monstrous spike to the upside. So, as I say, we might well have a little mini alt season at the start of this year. I talk about it in my Patreon, where we have a little bit of a, oof, hello, we're alive. But what if Bitcoin then runs off from January, March time? Whoa. Going to notice that spike to the upside. Then it might be that big capitulation. Everything runs into altcoins. So be mindful and be respectful of the past. But one final little thing. Timeframes are very interesting, because this is showcasing what kind of happened in the prior cycle in that January time. What's happening in January? Inauguration of Donald Trump. Very interesting.